sorry, I didn't see you guys there. Well, what are you after? You want to know where Windows came from, right? Where MS-DOS went to? Give me a minute. I will talk about the early versions of Windows. So back in 1985, Windows was in some serious competition because back then Mac OS, or rather the system software that the original Macintosh used, came onto the market. However, back then IBM PCs were all done by typing. I have a video on that, Lycan's Archeotech MS-DOS, if you want to look at that. But essentially, Microsoft had to figure out a way to make a graphical operating system, or at least a primitive GUI, for the IBM PC. Thus, Windows 1.0 was invented. And it's basically just a file manager. And I have actually an install of it on one of my virtual machines. I will get that to you now. Alright, we're in Windows, and here we put in Win, or try to. And this is Windows 1.0. Now, as you can see, it's a very, very basic program manager and doesn't really do much else. This is where Windows started, and yes, it's not intuitive at all, but this is how it started. However, Windows 1.0 wasn't very, good, and also drivers for mice and stuff wasn't exactly that great. It was very bare bones, and it really didn't have that much to it. So Microsoft released Windows 2.0. I hope you'll forgive me for this, but I couldn't actually get Windows 2.03 working, so we'll go to Windows 3 next. So here we've got a 7.1 install with all the upgrades, and here is Windows 3.11. As you can see, everything is on a program manager, not a desktop like in later versions of Windows, but it's got pretty much everything you would need to actually run a computer. Now, drivers and installs weren't so simple because plug and play hadn't been invented yet, and also 3.11 is the only one to support TCP/IP, which means that you can use them with modern workgroups, and you can actually use a Windows 3.1 computer on a standard Ethernet network if you got the drivers installed. All in all, the trip from Windows 1.0 all the way to Windows 3.11, which was beloved by pretty much everyone who used it, it was a long and arduous road, and it took a long time, lots of naysayers, and it took a lot of development to get to there. And from there to Windows 95, it took only 2 years, and yet they basically laid out the foundation for what modern Windows would sort of look like.
I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage, I can't afford a carriage, but you look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle.